Good morning, children. Welcome to science class. Children, already in last class we discussed beneficial microorganisms, and today we'll discuss about harmful microorganisms. Okay? So children, open book page number 37. So let's start. Harmful microorganisms. Just like microorganisms are helpful to us and the environment, they can also be harmful in many ways. Some of the microorganisms cause diseases in human beings, plants and animals. Such disease-causing microorganisms are called pathogens. So what is pathogen? Disease-causing microorganisms are known as pathogens. Some microorganisms spoil food, clothing and leather. Disease-causing microorganisms in humans. Pathogens can enter our body either through the air we breathe or through the water we drink or through the food we eat. They can also get transmitted by direct contact with an infected person or carried through an animal. Then it spread or microbial disease that can be spread from an infected person to a healthy person through air, water, food or physical contact are called communicable diseases. Means which diseases are communicated through communication, that are known as communicable diseases. Okay. Diseases like cholera, common cold, chickenpox and tuberculosis are caused by microorganisms. Common cold is one of the most common diseases caused by microorganisms. When an infected person sneezes, he spreads thousands of pathogens in the air through the fine droplets of moisture. When these pathogens enter the body of a healthy person on breathing in that air, he may get infected. There are some insects and animals which carry disease causing microbes with them. Housefly, mosquitoes are some such carriers. The flies sit on the garbage and animal excreta. Pathogens stick to their bodies. When these flies sit on the uncovered food, they may transfer the pathogens. If one consumes the contaminated food, he or she is like to get sick. Another example of a carrier is the female Anopheles mosquito, which carries parasite of malaria. Female Aedes aegypti or Aedes albopictus mosquito acts as carrier of dengue, chikungunya and Zika virus. The best way to keep away mosquitoes is not to let water collect anywhere, as stagnant water becomes breeding ground for the mosquitoes. Therefore, one should keep his or her surroundings clean and dry. Some common human disease caused by microorganisms. So here one box is given: human disease, causative microorganisms, mode of transmission and preventive measures. Okay. So first one is COVID-19. The causative microorganism is virus. Mode of transmission is droplets produced on coughing and sneezing. And preventing measure is maintain sufficient distance, wash hands frequently, use mask, sanitizer and proper vaccination. So like this children, you read other disease and also remember their microorganisms, causative microorganisms, mode of transmission and preventive measures. Okay. So you learn the table. Then disease causing microorganisms in animals. Microorganisms not only cause disease in humans but also in animals and plants. For example, anthrax is a dangerous human and cattle disease caused by a bacterium called Bacillus anthracis. So Bacillus anthracis is responsible for what? For cattle disease. Okay. Foot and mouth disease of cattle is caused by a virus. Bird flu affects poultry and is caused by a virus. Swine flu, also another disease caused by virus, affects pigs. Disease causing microorganisms in plants. Several microorganisms cause disease in plants like wheat, rice, potato, sugarcane, orange, apple, etc. For example, citrus canker is a bacterial disease that affects citrus trees, causing leaves and fruits to drop permanently or prematurely. Okay. Similarly, rust of wheat is caused by a fungus. Yellow vein mosaic of lady's finger is caused by a virus. Leaf curl disease of bean, pea, soybean, cotton is caused by virus. These diseases reduce the yield of crops. They can be controlled by the use of certain chemicals which kill the microbes. So these are some microorganisms who is causing disease in plants. Okay. Now food poisoning. Food poisoning is caused due to the consumption of food spoiled by some microorganisms. Microorganisms grow on other food, sometimes produce toxic substance. The food becomes smelly and poisonous, causing serious illness and even death due to this presence. So it is very important that we preserve food to prevent it from being spoiled. Then how we do food preservation? Food is spoiled by microorganisms. The spoiled food has a bad smell and bad taste, and its color also changed. The process of treating food in order to prevent its spoilage without losing its nutritional value, appearance and color or flavor is called food preservation. Since microbes are the main cause of spoilage of food, therefore in any preservation method, their growth is either stopped or slowed down by proper means. Now some methods we discuss to preserve food in our homes. First one is chemical method. Salts and edible oils are the common chemicals used usually to check the growth of microorganisms. Therefore, they are called preservatives. Adding salt and oils in the pickle prevents the attack of microbes. Sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite are some common preservatives. They are also used in jams and squashes to check their spoilage. Then sugar is preservative. Jams, jellies and squashes are sweet in taste, so they are preserved using sugar. Sugar reduces the moisture content which inhibits the growth of food spoiling microbes. Then oil and vinegar as preservatives. Use of oil and vinegar prevents spoilage of pickles because bacteria cannot grow in an environment formed due to these preservatives. Vegetables, fruits, fish and meat are often preserved by this method. Heat and cold treatment. Both Lower and higher temperature prevents the growth of microorganisms. Okay. Similarly, keeping food in refrigerator prevents it from the spoilage as low temperature inhibits the growth of microbes. Pasteurized milk can be consumed without boiling as it is free from harmful microbes. The milk is heated to about 70 degrees Celsius to 15 to 30 seconds for 30 seconds, okay, and then suddenly chilled and stored. It prevents the growth of microbes, and this method is known as pasteurization. And this process was discovered by whom? French scientist Louis Pasteur. Then storage and packing. Food items are also preserved by packing them in airtight packets. These days, dry fruits and even vegetables are sold in sealed airtight packets to prevent the attack of microbes. Then canning. An effective way of preserving food is to store it in airtight containers called cans. Food items like jams, vegetables, soft drinks, and even cooked food are canned. Now we'll see last part, that is nitrogen fixation. Already we read in first chapter nitrogen fixation. Okay, but now we'll read the process of nitrogen fixation, the steps of nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen is an essential nutrient for plants, as we know that nitrogen constitutes almost 78% of the atmosphere. Nitrogen also constitutes part of proteins in living beings, but plants cannot assimilate this atmospheric nitrogen directly. Okay, because nitrogen is present in the atmosphere in gaseous format. Okay, but plants cannot directly use that gaseous nitrogen. It needs to be converted into absorbable nitrogen compounds like nitrates or nitrites. Okay, and ammonium to the utilized by plants. Some microorganisms living in the soil convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonium compounds which are absorbed by the soil. The conversion of free atmospheric nitrogen into useful nitrogen compounds is called nitrogen fixation. Fixation is the first step in the process of making nitrogen usable for plants. The bacterium rhizobium in the food nodules of leguminous plants like pulses helps in fixation of nitrogen. Sometimes nitrogen gets fixed through the action of lightning. The amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains constant by nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is an essential constituent of all living beings as a part of proteins, chlorophyll, nucleic acid and vitamins. Though it is the most abundant constituents of the air, but it cannot be used directly by the plants and animals. The cycle of process in which nitrogen in the atmosphere is passed into the soil and life forms and then released back into the atmosphere is called nitrogen cycle. Now you see how they are converted. Atmospheric nitrogen is first converted into nitrogenous compounds like ammonium, that is NH4, with the help of nitrogen fixing bacteria in the root nodules of leguminous plants like blue-green algae. And during lightning, ammonium gets changed into nitrates, that is NO3, by the action of bacteria. This process is called nitrification. Okay. These nitrates can directly be taken by the plants and synthesized as plant protein. These proteins are passed to animals through the food chain, that is, from plants to herbivores and from herbivores to carnivores. So serially chain system is transferred from one system to another. This process is called assimilation. Okay, when plants and animals die, bacteria and fungi present in the soil convert the nitrogenous waste into nitrogenous compounds which are used by plants again. This process is called ammonification. Certain other bacteria called denitrifying bacteria convert some part of them to nitrogen gas, which goes back into the atmosphere. This is called denitrification. As a result, the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains more or less constant. So children, you have to remember these key words. What is nitrification, what is assimilation, what is ammonification, and what is denitrification. So this is very important, this nitrogen fixation. Again you read whole the chapter, okay, and also here you remember these are this bacteria, okay, bacteria, fungi, algae, and also protozoa, viruses. Okay, these properties you have to remember with example. And this is a summary. This box is a summary. You read this box properly, okay, and learn. So thank you. Have a nice day.